Today, my friends, was a new update for Fortnite version 9.4, and it may have very well been one of the biggest updates of this season, if not the biggest update in terms of leaks and event info. Guys, if you're just as excited as I am, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be uploading every day, keeping you fully involved with what's going on within Fortnite. Also, if you're watching this video when it first goes up, I'm going to be live on Caffeine soon, so make sure you check me out in the link below and get involved with the stream. Alright, so first things first, as you can see, the robot has been fully built. It's got a bare head, so it turns out that exact head from the Fortnite image actually turned out to be the robot's head. Amazing how that turned out. That was a pretty big theory. Aside from getting its head completed, it also got an assortment of other upgrades. For starters, it got a nice paint job. It's been colored different colors, and each part of the robot resembles some other skin. You can see Rex is involved with one of the arms. You can see the feet. Burger and Tomato Head, our boys, are reunited once again on the robot. The head, of course, resembles Cuddle Team Leader, and there is a collar halfway around the robot's neck that looks a lot like what Drift wears. The robot also has several missiles loaded up into it in several locations. For starters, on both sides of the torso, you've got him on his kneecaps, and you've also got him in the shoulders, so this robot is armed and ready for combat, it seems like. Currently, the event timer sits just a little bit above 3 days, so just above 72 hours from now, we are going to witness the fight go down between the completed robot and the caddis, which still has yet to make a public appearance in the game. I don't know if I'm the only one that sees this, but the robot looks so much like one of those big robots the Power Rangers make when they put all their vehicles together, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you saw this already in the intro, but I want to officially go over this. So this is one of the new loading screens for this season that was just data mined with the new update, and as you can see, it is the completed Fortnite image, and it turns out the whole time Jonesy was blocking the very middle portion, which had the most important info. So obviously the middle bit is showing the fight, the battle between the caddis and the robot. Now the interesting thing that I took away from this almost immediately is, look how big the creature is, okay? It looks absolutely massive. This is our first real glimpse at the creature because we've never actually seen anything more than its eye and what's on its back. In fact, it looks bigger than the robot, at least the drawing. I don't know if Jonesy is drawing to scale here, but if the drawing is accurate, which I have good reason to believe it is, the caddis looks to be so much bigger than the robot does, but the robot does actually have the missiles, some extra added components, and he's also holding like a giant sword or very sharp object. Something else, I don't know if this is the angle or the way Jonesy drew it, but it does look like the creature is on the ground, whereas the robot seems to be elevated a little bit off the ground, so possibly that's reinforcing the theory that the robot can fly, or at least hover with his jetpack, while the caddis cannot do so. We know for a fact the robot is going to have at least some capabilities to fly because of his added jetpack. And this picture might actually support that theory a little bit. Anyway, here is the second leaked loading screen for this season. This may be one of the last ones, and there were only 2 leaked this time. Well, 2 that mattered. There were 2 more also, but they were just promotional events. In this image, we see Singularity at pressure plant, leaning on a railing and looking directly at the robot. You can also see a couple people working on it in the background. This must be right as it's finishing its completion. Singularity is looking up at the robot like she knows something crazy is about to go down. Also, fun fact, this is the first loading screen. Well, maybe the second if you count the one I just showed you with Bunker Jonesy, to show a main skin of the season. Basically, all of the loading screens have shown item shop skins. For the most part, they've been very secretive of the story and tried to be pretty vague so far. But now we get the most important one of the entire season, arguably, with Singularity, the main skin for the season, looking right at the robot, a part of the biggest event we're expecting Fortnite to ever have. Here's a leak via Fort Tory on Twitter. He says, Caddis Hill, new POI after the event, and as you can clearly see inside the game's coding, It says Caddis Hill. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a POI because, I mean, usually POIs in the game follow a very similar format. Tilted Towers, Pleasant Park, Salty Springs, Lonely Lodge. They both would start with the same letter or at least the same sound, but Caddis Hill kind of deviates from that format. I can't write it off though because in Season 9, we got our first real exception to the rule when Tilted Towers was renamed Neo-Tilted. Maybe they're just going to continue on with that, I don't know. This next leak is courtesy of Lucas7Yoshi on Twitter, and it appears as though he has found the game mode they're going to use for the event in 3 days. Now, this is the description. It's called The Final Showdown. It says, initiate Island Defense Protocol. Emergency hyperfuel jetpacks have been granted. Take to the skies and find cover on sky platforms. So this is huge because it confirms a number of things. Number one, it confirms that the Caddis is attacking us. It's not the other way around. The Caddis is the aggressor, and what has been built here with the robot is purely a defense mechanism. It confirms that the entire island is going to be placed basically on lockdown until the Caddis is dealt with. It also confirms jetpacks are going to be granted to everyone, very similar to the jetpacks that we saw in the propaganda posters. But here's the thing that really has me interested. It says emergency hyper-fuel jetpacks have been granted. It sounds like these were never supposed to have been used at all unless a situation like this arises. The sky bases have little beams that take you up to the top and the airwaves that deliver you right at the base. But maybe they won't be working during the event, and therefore they'll have to deploy these emergency jetpacks. Now, what would cause the sky bases to lose power? Maybe a massive power surge like we've been speculating about this entire time? Maybe that's what's going to happen, and that's why we're forced to use jetpacks to take cover instead of using the natural power that we know the sky bases currently possess. Here are more leaks from Lucas7Yoshi, and these are basically lines of code, random strings in the game's coding that he thought were notable to put on Twitter. A few of them definitely seem to be relating to the event, including Team Mech, Team Monster, Team Select, The Final Showdown. The island depends on you. The world is watching, and unpredictable and unforgiving. Now, wow, this is pretty crazy. Is it possible we're going to be able to load into this game mode and choose what team we're going to fight for? Team Mecha, which would be the robot, or Team Monster? Maybe it's not going to be just as straightforward as we think. Maybe we're literally going to have to take sides and we're going to fight each other during this game mode, and ultimately it would be up to the community to decide the fate of the Fortnite Island's future. This has actually been a pretty big topic and something I've seen all the time in my comment section and on social media, where people saying, what if we're going to be the ones to choose what happens, very much like what happened in the previous unvaulting event. That event obviously went over very well. There were a lot of people who complained about what was unvaulted and what was chosen upon, aka the drum gun, but ultimately it was one of the best events we've had just because it was interactive and the community ultimately got to choose what happened, and it looks like Epic is going to go back to that sort of format if these leaks prove to be accurate. Another leak, this time from Fort Tory. It says apparently there's going to be some sort of a Caddis lead-up event, and as you can see in the game's coding, that's exactly what it says. It says lead-up event active. Is it active now? Is it going to happen over the course of the next few days leading up until the event? That would be my guess. Maybe something happens in the game in the next few hours. If it does, I'll try to update you. Maybe it means just a few minutes before the event actually starts, once everybody is in the game mode. I don't know when exactly it means, but there is going to be some sort of lead-up event that gets us hyped up for the actual event. This isn't related to the event, but this is a leak from Lucas7Yoshi that I think you guys may be very pleased with. So as you know, the past 2 seasons have had overtime challenges. With Season 7's overtime challenges, you were able to get the Season 8 Battle Pass for free. However, in Season 8's version of the overtime challenges, that wasn't an option. It looks like in Season 9's overtime challenges, we may be able to get the Season 10 Battle Pass for free. As you can see, it says Battle Pass free versus Battle Pass paid. This would be awesome, and I know a lot of people would really appreciate it. So, what are your thoughts, guys? I just laid out a whole bunch of info. There's probably even more. I'll have another video out as soon as I can. But this is our first glance into what's actually gonna happen. Like, we have been going through this whole season, basically guessing, basically thinking, oh, this might happen, and this has been such a bombshell of an update where it's literally showing so many different things in the coding that got added that they've been doing their best to hide until this point. And man, I'm glad they did hide it, because it's a lot more interesting this way. We know a lot of the event details, but still a lot to come and a lot that we don't know. Make sure to subscribe and drop a like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.